How many of you have faced a gatekeeper at one time or another during your life? Now think of gatekeepers like salesmen trying to get past a secretary or entry-level positions that require 3 to 5 years of experience. But a lot of times, these gatekeepers are mental. How do you overcome gatekeepers? Well, you need to treat it just like going to the gym. It's something you need to exercise. It takes time, baby steps. Think about going to Starbucks and asking for a 10% discount on a latte. What if there was an incubator for overcoming these gatekeepers, these rules, the status quo? What if it was a place where if you were a goat dreaming about driving a scooter, you could drive that scooter? Or maybe you've been at the airport and you've been just bored out of your mind, you want something to do. Boom, you could have fun at the airport doing target shooting. Now, can you guess what place I'm talking about? India! My first job after graduating from college was doing international sales management for a company that made laboratory equipment. Now you might think, wow, that seems like a fairly prestigious position to get fresh out of school. How did I get all that experience? I did not have any of that experience. I'd never been to India. I never sold anything. I never managed anyone. I never even took high school chemistry. Somehow, I managed to get the job. I lived just outside of Mumbai in a hotel where I lived for 1 year. And in that hotel, I did something that most expats never do. I talked to the employees. I got to know them, whether it was the desk staff or the people in the restaurant. I made an opportunity to build rapport with them. And this paid off huge dividends. I was able to get VIP access that most guests never do. When they had events such as fashion shows or other things, I was able to check them out free of charge. When there were celebrations, I was included as one of the gang. These were really special opportunities, especially since I didn't have any social contacts when I was working over there. Now you notice the person on the far right, he ended up moving to a new hotel, which is something that happens often. So time and time again, when I go back to India with my wife, she is wowed when we go into new hotels and I'm greeted by, "Oh, hello, Eric, sir." This is the beautiful office where I worked at for 2 years while working in India. And something else that most Indian managers do not do is really get to know their staff on a friendly basis. This is something that I made a priority, especially since I was coming as an outsider. So anytime there was a local wedding, I made sure to show up. And over time, this also paid dividends by getting to do once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, such as celebrating Diwali on the rooftop of my driver's home, and even doing crazy things like taking 8-hour journeys into the village with a group of my employees to go to a wedding. And it didn't matter, we didn't have enough seats, we simply threw a little cushion on, and we had enough seats. This is us living in the little farmhouse for the night, piled together. And again, this is the kind of thing that as an outsider, you would never get the opportunity to do unless you really made it a point to bond with the locals. 2 of my employees were interns, and they went to a local college in the area studying business. They thought that I was an impressive mentor, and they went back and told their professor about me. That professor reached out and said, "Eric, it would be great if you could come and teach at our college." And I said, "What would I teach?" She said, "We have this great MBA program, and you could teach a marketing course." Visiting professor for an MBA marketing program. Now, have I ever been a professor before? No. Do I have an MBA? No. Did I specialize in marketing? No. But I took my old PowerPoint slides from college, put together some curriculum, designed a final exam, and voila, I was teaching marketing. And you can tell by the looks on their faces, they're pretty wowed with what I'm dishing. Now, in between classes, I would chat with some of the faculty, and one time they said, "You know, Eric, there's this conference coming up. Would you like to be one of the keynote speakers?" I asked, "Well, what was the conference about?" They said, "Oh, sustainable management practices." Keynote on sustainable management practices. Have I ever given a keynote before? No. Do I know what sustainable management is? No. But I still had my name on the board, and I took it on as a challenge. Of course, I had to Google what is sustainable management practices. I had 10 to 15 minutes to fill in my presentation after all. Now, this is me chatting with the primary keynote speaker. He was an actual business professional, unlike me, who probably didn't belong there. When I see myself giving this gesture in the photo, I imagine me telling him, I don't know why I'm here. And neither of us really knew what to expect for how many people would be there. Turned out, it was a big audience. It was a full room of people interested in sustainable management practices. When we arrived, we were gifted a beautiful potted plant as a way of saying thanks for us arriving on the scene. And thus, I began my 10 to 15 minutes on sustainable management. I made sure to do a lot of preparation. In the front row, you can see the looks on their faces. I must have been saying something pretty impressive at this point. I also had a few jokes prepared. And once again, you can see by the jovial looks on their faces that they were having a very good time. At the end of it, we received a beautiful piece of paper to say thanks for coming to that conference. The primary keynote speaker probably still wondering, what the heck is Eric doing at this event? So what's the common denominator? I was able to have all these very unique opportunities that I was not qualified for. How was I able to take advantage of all these amazing things? I believe it comes down to three components: being friendly, being interested, and being bold. This combination created a powerful talent stack that allowed me to embark on all of these amazing opportunities. These are 3 books that I would recommend you read in order to develop each of these different skill sets, which I think are valuable not just for being a crazy professor in India, but all throughout your life for different adventures. I would recommend that you read these books and you will develop these skills, and then you will be as bold as this random guy was who approached me and asked for a selfie. Thank you.